The global credit default swap market has grown substantially in the last 2 decades or so. Of course, there was a break during the crisis because of various problems with the contract, but since then it's picked up again. There has been a lot of new regulation, both in the United States and Europe and even elsewhere. So the improvements have been more in terms of the clearing and settlement through introduction of central clearing, and also much better disclosure. So today we know who is buying, who is selling, at least the regulators know, and even to some extent the market also gets some information with a delay. So there's much better transparency and much better clearing and reduction of risk that is going on. So these two have contributed to it. Going forward, I think we need to further improve the regulations, the disclosures, and also really much better regulatory oversight over the enforcement of these contracts. Traditionally, most of the European countries, with the exception of the United Kingdom, have been really relying on bank finance rather than public debt markets. That has been the evolution for many, many years. More recently, with all the problems surrounding bank balance sheets, banks cannot any longer be the main supplier of credit to the market. This job has to be given to the public debt markets because they can allocate risk much better. And anyway, bank balance sheets are already fully stressed. Many banks are reluctant to lend, and this is particularly true in Southern Europe, for instance in Italy and Greece and Spain and so on, where, for instance, banks are simply not lending. So this is having a real economic kind of hurdle for the whole economy. So it's better to give that job to the markets and allow the markets to decide who is worth lending to and who is not at what rate. So I think this is a welcome development, and I think the way to do it is actually to, in fact, I'm just going to a meeting of a committee of the central bank in India where we are discussing exactly this question. And one of the things we are trying to do is to provide more incentives for banks to actually participate in the bond market than simply taking loans. Okay, so they are, and to provide more liquidity to the market, allow the market to become more liquid by providing incentives for trading, right? So if there's no liquidity, nobody will come to the market. So we need to have incentives. And I think the role of individual investors is very important. More and more investors, at least in the top few companies, who are willing to buy and sell bonds, and that would help the liquidity. So I think disclosure, more liquid markets, try to remove the impediments for trading, and I think also incentivizing banks to really buy bonds rather than just lend the money to the companies. That's where it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.